Hey goons, happy Kwanzaa, happy Day of the Dead, happy New Year. It is officially time to forget about our New Year's resolutions as is tradition. Throw them, burn them, hell, wish them upon your worst enemy. That's what they're your worst enemy for, right? Now you guys like parties, right? Sitting in the corner because you don't know anyone there, continuously switching between the calculator and weather app just so it looks like you're actually occupied with something. The music's bumping and it's kind of overwhelming. Wait, music? Hang on. I like music, and if I didn't know any better, I think that you, the viewer, also enjoy music to an extent. But we're not here to talk about what music you like, you lame ass. No, we're here to talk about the music I like. And one music artist in particular I want to talk about is, you guessed it, Will Wood. Okay, where do I start? Well, first off, he makes music. I know, that's crazy, right? But he isn't just a musician. He's also a reformed drug addict. He even did so many drugs at one point, he forgot a whole year because of them. He was even arrested twice, both times being drug-related incidents. Yeah, that's my favorite music artist. Now, if you're a close friend of mine, or if you just know me in person at all, then you're probably already aware of how huge of a Will Wood fan I am. I'm only 1% ashamed to admit that I have probably his entire discography downloaded on my phone. I know almost every word to every song he's ever made.
Now this is the part of the song I like to talk to my audience. I like to tell them there's something I want from you cats tonight. I want you to look to your left, look to your right, your 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, rock around the clock tonight, and I want you to find those points of no return, those singularities, those burning rings of fire, and the beautiful pupils, and the beautiful eyes, the beautiful boy, girl, neither both are in between that you rock with you tonight, and I want you to tell me how you really feel. I want you to love the way they so seamlessly, like a dream, so beautifully, oh so dutifully, jam that square peg in the round hole in their heart. I want you to tell them that you love the way they don't stick out like sore middle fingers, that they crawl the way up the side of the bell cut, stick their flag in the peak, and slide the way back down. I want to tell you love the way that I'm mad at you, not malcontent, not mad at you, not upset, but rather that you love them exactly the way that everybody else is.
And I cry myself to sleep every night, knowing that I'll probably never be able to see him in concert since he's always touring on the East Coast of America and I am but a lonely Californian on the West Coast. Now, to describe Will Wood's music, it's very everything. It, as described by my best friend, sounds like a goat being thrown at a wall made of pure titanium with a jazz groove. In a good way. And honestly, I could not agree more. He's dabbled in jazz, disco, folk pop, and one of my personal favorites, ska. Now, a quick history lesson for those of you who don't know. Ska originated in Jamaica in the 60s and is known for focusing on the upbeat of the rhythm, which is 1 and 2 and 3, rather than 1 and 2 and 3, and over time it has become more fast-paced, and more importantly, ska is meant to have a political message. It always has had a political message to it. It's actually the precursor to reggae, which is far more well-known around the world. But if you want to check out some ska, I recommend The Specials, The Selector, and Chudson, which Chudson is a smaller band from around the area I live in, but they're also a band that me and my band gets to play with in February. Yeah, I'm in a band, and we're terrible, but we're called Who Fred Fred, and you should definitely check us out. Okay, anyways, I digress, but back on track to talking about the love of my life, my light in the dark, the totally gay icon, my honey boo boo bear favorite artist, Will Wood. Now, Will Wood's first album is called Everything Is a Lot, which consists of a lot of chaotic, upbeat, I want to rob a bank, then a train, and then run around while screaming in nothing but my pants energy. Except for the title track and a couple other songs, but besides that, that's kind of the main vibe of every other song in the album. So Everything Is a Lot pretty much showcased how many drugs Will was on at the time, and it also kind of established the vibe that him and his band at the time played. Currently, he just goes by Will Wood. However, he used to be known as Will Wood and the Tapeworms, which is infinitely cooler because, you know, tapeworms rock. Now, me personally, I would have to say that my favorites from this album are 6up50 Cop Out Pro/Con, which makes me want to commit a felony, and White Knuckle Jerk Where Do You Get Off, which I really should serenade my girlfriend with because it's that good of a song. Now, on to his next album, Selfish, which was released just a year after Everything Is a Lot. Now, with Selfish, there's still some chaos, but it's dialed back a little to make room for songs that have a bit more depth to them psychologically. For instance, Mr. Capgrass encounters a second-hand vanity, Tulpomancer's prosopagnosia pareidolia as a direct result of trauma to the fusiform gyrus, which is pretty much just telling the story of a person with Capgras syndrome. Now, for those who don't know, Capgras syndrome is the belief that people in your life have been replaced with doubles or imposters of themselves. Another song that delves more into psychology is Cotard's Solution, Anata Dukkha Anicca, again with someone believing they have the tidal disorder, believing that they are without essential organs or a soul. Now, a lot of you may recognize the song Dr. Sunshine is Dead if you were on TikTok a lot as an alt kid around 2020, 2021. However, the song itself also happens to be one of my favorites from the album, along with Cotard's Solution. Now, the third album, which also happens to be my favorite album from Will, is the tween... What? The evil twin sibling to the bizarre single, the Normal album, which is hardly normal at all. It was released in 2020, and the main theme of the album is, well, wanting to be normal. There's a whole song called Love Me Normally where the narrator of the song just wants to be loved and seen as normally. I mean, can you believe it? Now, the Normal album is probably the most diverse in terms of genre, experimenting with, as mentioned before, ska, 50s rock, jazz, doo-wop, cabaret, and even vocal surf. Now, a lot of you little guitar queeros, gay people, most likely know the song I/Me/Myself, which is a song Will wrote when he was having his own little gender identity crisis, hence the woke, gay, sissy, liberal agenda title being arranged like pronouns. Ooh, scary. Yeah, you know who you are, you're not slick. Anyways, amazing album. My favorites from it are The Second Sightseer and Memento Mori, the most important thing in the world, which forces the listener to come to terms with the fact that death is inevitable, and one day your name will be nothing but a breath in the wind. 10 out of 10 album. I could listen to it forever and not get tired. Now, the fourth and final album is In Case I Make It. It's his most recent album, released in 2022, and it honestly defined me as a person for that summer up until the fall. Dark times in fall of 2022. We don't talk about that. Anyways, this album is the most laid back and personal out of the others I talked about before. The song Half Decade Hangover, while still emotionally heavy, is one that showcases that Will has moved on from who he used to be, as the Will would when he was with the Tapeworms, hence the half-decade portion of the title, because that's how long that pill-popping, mentally ill son of a bitch persona lasted, you know? This doesn't mean that he hates who he was as a person before, or that he hates the music he made, but as Will himself has stated, the time period that In Case I Make It came from was probably the most miserable he's ever been. For me personally, I think this is probably my second favorite album of his right under the Normal album. Each and every song is absolutely incredible, just like every other song he's made before. Each one has its own story, and the album as a whole really gives you more insight into who Will is as a person and the struggles he's gone through in his life. From losing his pet rat, to worrying about scaring off a partner, to realizing that no one owns your body or your heart. So very good album. 10 out of 10. I'd say my favorites are definitely Half Decade Hangover and Tomcat Disposables. Now, aside from his main 4 albums, Will has some side projects he was a part of, like the Stereosexuals, and the one album produced under that name titled Bigger Than Yours. He helped create the soundtrack for a podcast called Camp Here and There, which is pretty cool. And there's a couple songs in there that make me sob until my whole room is flooded. And then there's this. If you want to know more about the little information there is about Will Wood, I definitely suggest you guys check out this iceberg video made on him, because it's honestly the reason I know some of the things I do about him. Now, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I think I really needed to make this video to compensate for how rushed my last one was, and also just to make sure you guys know how much I love Will Wood and his music, more importantly. Thanks for watching. See you all later.